Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Q here again, Paleo Problem Island, MikeTheCaveman.com. And today's question is, why is my poop a weird color? Now, poop is one of those fun topics that's a little bit taboo still, for no apparent reason, but it is a major barometer for your health status. Hippocrates said that all disease begins in the gut, but we can take that one step further and say that it all starts with the poo. The size, shape, frequency, odor, and color of our poo are all influenced by and reflective of our current health status. If people understood what their poop was trying to tell them, Glade would be out of business. So I guess you should consider me your poop whisperer. To discuss them all in depth is beyond the scope of this video, but needless to say, all the usual suspects are in play. Anti-nutrients causing damage and inflammation to the intestinal lining, foods, drugs, medications, and toxins altering the gut microbial community, and, of course, the big one, stress. I often talk about how physical and psycho-emotional stress leads to an increased release of stress hormones in the fight or flight system through the sympathetic nervous system. But this results in the concurrent downregulation of this parasympathetic nervous system, or the rest and digest response. This is why many people get the runs and or constipation when they are frightened, anxious, and or otherwise distressed. Back to color. Your liver releases bile to help digest fats, and one of its main constituents, bilirubin, gives poop its distinctive brown color. While bilirubin, which is composed of recycled red blood cells in the liver, is normally yellowish-green, it is chemically altered by enzymes resulting in that brown color we all know and love. Now, various foods and chemicals, such as food colories, can change the color, but let's look at some of the other reasons why as well. Yellow poop is usually indicative of excess fat in the stool, which is the result of a malabsorption disorder such as celiac, or following the removal of your gallbladder. Since your gallbladder is where you concentrate and store your bile, you don't quite have as much of it. You have no reserve. In this case, pancreatic enzymes such as lipase, as well as ox bile, can help replace that in the digestion of the fat, which will also help with the absorption of your fat-soluble vitamins. Next one is green poop. Green poop generally indicates that the bilirubin was unable to be broken down and pass through your system, which is indicative of hypermotility, meaning that your food passed through your system way too quick, the enzymes couldn't break down that bilirubin, and it went through into your poop intact. So as we said before, bilirubin starts out as a yellowish-green color. Now, green foods and green food coloring can also do that. So, what you're going to want to do here is increase your fibrous green vegetable intake, because that's going to help differentiate. If it stays green, well, it's probably those vegetables. If it doesn't, well, the bulk is going to slow down in your transit time, and your poop should go back to being its normal brown color. Next up is a whitish or clay color poop, in which case you're not releasing enough bile. So that could be indicative of a pancreatic disorder. It could be indicative of liver issues. It's also seen if you're taking anti-diarrheal medications. Similar to yellow poop, though, you're going to want to look at pancreatic enzymes and ox bile to replace the insufficient amounts of bile that you're producing. But it's when we get to black and red poop that things really start to get squirrely. Black poop can be indicative of bleeding in the upper gastrointestinal tract, while red poop is generally indicative of bleeding in the lower intestinal tract. But black poop may also be the result of excess iron, activated charcoal, black licorice, blueberries, and even Oreos, while red poop can also be the result of grapes, cranberries, beets, tomato products. So, what you're going to want to do is be aware of any other symptoms, such as pain, diarrhea, vomiting, and if you haven't eaten any of those foods recently, and you have those other symptoms, you're probably going to want to go see some medical attention, like immediately, as it's very likely you have some internal bleeding going on. But that's not to just scare you outright. So, the biggest takeaways today are, be mindful of your poop. Also, be mindful of what you're eating and any medications you're taking. Be sure that you're fostering a healthy gastrointestinal tract, okay? Make sure you're eating those real foods, particularly the bone broth, the gelatin, getting in some digestive enzymes if you need them, getting in potentially ox bile if you have insufficient bile production. You're going to want to look at that quality probiotic and multivitamin to make sure you're getting everything you need. So, be aware of what you're eating. Be aware of your poo. You shouldn't be that smelly. You shouldn't be farting either. If you're eating real foods, I know it's a crazy concept, but if you're eating those real foods and you're avoiding the deleterious ones, and you get your bacteria and everything else in your gut in order, you're not going to fart. Don't believe me? Try it. Alright guys, hope this helped you out. You know what to do. Like and subscribe down below. Share it with your friends. Head over to Instagram and Twitter. Follow me at Mike the Caveman. Over on Facebook at Paleo Problem Island. And of course over on MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said guys, go enjoy your poo. I'll see you tomorrow.